Welcome back to that SEC podcast. I'm your host, Michael Bratton. Go by SEC Mike on the Twitters. And there he is. When he's not in the comments, he's right in front of your face. Everybody's favorite cousin, Cousin Shane. How's it going, brother?
Not shift.
Man, we got another mailbag edition of the show, Shane. We got some really great questions. We may need a couple more to I don't know. There must have been something going on last night. We didn't get a ton of questions, but I'm hoping we got enough to make a really good show here.
Yeah, I was afraid that old alert would get lost in the shuffle there, Mike. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I would imagine half the questions were about the election last night. So, but hey, that's that's it. Every 4 years we gotta go through something like that, and that's why we're here, to kind of get your minds off all the chaos, because it is around us. I thought the ads, I was like, you know what? After the election, the ads will go away, but now it's just nonstop bashing the other party. So I was like, oh, okay. It's like when you pull off an upset, you know what I'm saying? You dig up those receipts. That's what they're doing, just the political side of it.
Right. Well, you know who doesn't do that, though?
Yeah.
Who will never speak ill of?
Who's that?
Cousin JR, man, what a guy. Come on,
JR.
Cousin JR, what a guy. He just gifted another membership. It's time to Boy and his dog. I can't believe there's people still out here that don't have a membership after Two Slick gave out 50 on the last one, man. What a great family we got here.
Oh, we're doing great, man. Hey, let me ask you, am I, quality-wise, am I doing good? Am I sounding all right? Fluid? Crystal clear? Because
Yeah.
you're glitching. You got a little glitch to you, Mike. Got a little, JR don't glitch. SEC Mike's glitching a little bit. So I was just seeing if maybe you want to kick somebody off Netflix in the other room or something. Just kidding.
I think usually it's just you there, Shane.
Here we go, pointing fingers. I point little flaw, and it's always me. Now, you know what? You can't. We are family, Mike, and you could tell, Mama, I didn't break it. Shane did,
That's because you were always the one that did break it.
But but I got out of it.
You would always be the first. You would alert everybody that shit was broke, and they're like, well, Shane couldn't have done it. He's the one that told us.
I'm telling you, I was playing chess while you boys were playing checkers, I think that was my favorite one. Actually, I feel bad the older I get. I broke a vase, and it was my fault. I did it, okay? And I'm sorry, Mama. Rest in peace. I wish I would have told her it was me. But I convinced her that my brother wasn't even in the room, Next thing I know, he's getting his ass beat. And I'm like, golly. At the time, I felt like a hero. But as I got a little bit older, I felt bad. So, John, I apologize as well.
Right. I just remember there was one time we were playing a video game or something. I don't know why. I think we were just being jerks. We were trying to keep you out of the room.
Yeah.
And what we did was we put a chair up against the door so that you couldn't get in. But you being... we used to call you Diesel. I mean, there was no stopping you. You just battered through and broke the chair, and next thing you know, we got in trouble.
That's right. It's a benefit of being an offensive lineman. You know what leverage is. So,
well, speaking of leverage, I don't know how to transition from that, but we got great leverage in our friends over at MyBookie. Come on, Shane. Go ahead. And again, the leverage part is that promo code, that SEC, THATSEC over at MyBookie. What's that get you, Shane? Double cousin, not double cousin curse. Double your deposit over at MyBookie, the online sports book. So again, mybookie.ag, that's a website. Sign up, put in that promo code, that SEC. They'll double your initial deposit today. And Shane, I believe you're on a heater now.
yes, I'm on fire. Absolutely. I feel it too, Mike. I've already got my pick. And I don't care what happens with the points tomorrow. I already know that this team is going to hit it. So if you want to make some money, I'm about to double it up, Mike, just like MyBookie.
Cousin Rex says, Shane broke a chair, not buying it.
Brother, that's a good one, because I used to have a list, like mental list of chairs I've broken, and let's just say that I've exceeded that number. I cannot keep up with it. Now I have PTSD. I always, when you're a big guy, Mike, and you're not a big guy,
I've broken a chair or two in my day. Trust me.
Well, could you imagine what happened if I sat on it? You know what I'm saying? So I size up every chair. The worst one, and I don't even know why they keep making them, because it's going to get somebody, are those little plastic out yard chair. There is no way that would survive me on it. It definitely would survive anybody. Like after 2 years, it becomes just an obstacle that's going to hurt somebody. So,
right.
Yeah, sorry. I don't know how we got on chair tangents, but.
Dudley said, you guys are really cousins. Yes. He must be new to the channel here. This is real. We are all family in here. But
oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Real, can't you tell the hair? Ain't nothing.
All right, let's get to the questions, though, Shane.
Yes.
Again, we didn't have a ton because there was something going on last night. I don't know, but we don't have a ton, but we do got some good ones. So I went on some deep dives here, Shane. Shout out cousin Michael Riley. He was the only official cousin to ask a question. So we always get, if you're a member of the channel, we guarantee you we'll get your question asked. I love this one. You're going to love it too, buddy.
Yeah.
Thank you, cousin Michael here. If you could have seen one SEC great player on another team, who would it be and why? So take an all-time great, or it could just be a current great, whatever. Could be any player, really. Switch them, put them on a different team. I came with a list. You want to get mine before you?
Dude, yeah. I'm not prepared. So, yeah, let's hear what you got.
All right, how about this one? Tim Tebow on Alabama, Shane, playing. Now, it may not have eventually turned into Nick Saban, but he would have played for Nick Saban. It was the former coach Shula that almost got Tim Tebow down. So maybe had he got Tim Tebow, maybe they wouldn't have fired Shula, but they probably still would have because he was awful. So Tim Tebow, Alabama, Nick Saban, that could have been his first quarterback. How about that?
I like that one, man. That's a good one. Okay, so now you got my brain working here. We're going deep.
I got a lot
let's
more.
Go. Let's go, Mike.
Now, you probably remember this, Shane. I don't know if the cousins will. After Peyton Manning, Tennessee had another quarterback lined up that it would have, T. Martin he's got a statue, he's got a national championship. This is not a slight to him. But there was one quarterback that they had lined up that they almost got, Shane, that would have taken Tennessee perhaps. There could have been a dynasty. Do you remember who that was? And he played in the SEC. Tim Couch. Remember how great he was?
Yeah.
It was down to Tennessee, Kentucky. And I think something about his grandfather or his father just hated Tennessee. So he said, you know what? I'm from Kentucky. I'm going to Kentucky. Turned out to be a good move. I mean, he was a number one pick. He's got all these records. So didn't turn out bad for him. But that would have been interesting to see him at Tennessee. That
was a good game. There was Tim, they played each other. And I remember that one being, when I was young, I was like, man, they built this thing up. Two of the best quarterbacks of all time going against each other. So it was exciting. Right. And I think Tennessee won that one. I don't know. His papa may have been wrong.
All right, how about this one, Shane? Now, again, he did tremendous things. We can never take away from what Cam Newton did at Auburn, right?
Yeah.
But I could double whammy this one. Let's say he doesn't throw the laptop out the window. He could have been at Florida. He could have followed Tim Tebow.
Yeah.
Florida would have had you could call it a dynasty. It would have been even a greater dynasty had Cam Newton stayed at Florida.
Yeah.
And then how about one other with him? Before he ended up going to Auburn, he was supposed to go to Mississippi State, Shane, under Dan Mullen. So I got two teams for Cam. Mississippi State would have been fascinating to see what he looked like in Dan Mullen's offense at State, or don't throw that laptop out the window and stay at Florida. So I got two for Cam here.
Oh, okay. So you're talking like, you moved one around and then you just kept one during the same time frame. So
Shane, there are no rules here on the mailbag. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I cheated for these next two because I was really struggling, but I really wanted to give good answer to Michael Riley for the question.
Yeah.
And I thought he would I don't know if he'll appreciate this, but because he's a Florida guy. You ever heard of this guy, Lamar Jackson, Shane?
Yeah.
Old Will Muschamp said he wanted him at Florida. But he said, you're a defensive back. If you come down here, you're going to be defensive back. Imagine if Will Muschamp would have got out of his own damn way, taken Lamar Jackson. That was his quarterback with the defenses they had down there. Will Muschamp may still be the coach down there, and he probably would have been very successful.
Jeez. I mean, could you imagine? I mean, you hear stories like this, Mike. You know, I think about, you talk about Tennessee, there was a couple quarterbacks went over there to Clemson. You're kind of wondering, like, what would have happened
Right.
if we could have convinced them to stay. You know, I go back a little bit further. I think it was Ronnie Brown, you know, Auburn great. Almost didn't go to Auburn. Almost went to Tennessee. May have saved Phil Fulmer's job. You know, back then, running back was key. So I kind of always wonder what happened if that would have stuck around a little bit, though. Man, there's so many good ones, Mike, that you could have moved around.
I got one more.
Yeah, go ahead.
So Tua, not baby Tua, the first Tua. Of course, he went on to do great things. So we don't have to rewrite his history or anything.
He just don't remember it, you know?
But he almost, Shane, he almost went. I don't know how close it was, but LSU almost stole him. And this was when Coach O got there. He was going to hire Kiffin, and I think Tua was going to come with him. So imagine LSU, had they gotten Kiffin as offensive coordinator, Tua as their quarterback. Now, it all worked out because they eventually got a guy named Joe Burrow. So maybe they wouldn't have got Joe Burrow if they ended up getting Tua, but that's my list of kind of like fantasy players moving around and the repercussions of all that.
Yeah. No, I like that, man. I mean, you could do this one for days, Mike. And I feel like maybe this is something we table for the offseason. I mean, we can make a whole damn episode of what ifs, because I think about great teams. Like, do you remember the Ole Miss team a few years back? Coach Luke was down there. You talk about a receiver room that was absolutely loaded. And I'm not saying they didn't have great quarterback play, but you wonder what would it have been like if you had a Joey Burrow or something like that. You know, they could have. Hell, Coach Luke may still be down there in Ole Miss. You never know. I mean, just one good season. Hell, I do that now with Mizzou, about to go up here, and you know, I'm seeing all these studs. I see the bag of chips behind you, and you know, they just can't. They don't have a healthy quarterback, and you wonder, hey, if I would have put, you know, just maybe another quarterback in here, that just what would Mizzou be? So I don't know, man.
Blueberry J says Trevor Lawrence on Tennessee. Remember, Butch screwed that one up. Otherwise, he may be a ball.
Well, Trevor Lawrence, and then there was the before that. What was his name?
Peyton Manning on Vanderbilt says Cool John.
That if he went to Ole Miss, you know, I mean,
yeah. Any others?
Yeah. I mean, you took all the good ones.
There's a unlimited amount of ones you can pick from.
You nailed it. I mean, I can't. Okay. Yeah,
you nailed it. I told Steven, I was like, "Here's what Shane will say." He's like, "Great list."
That's a great list. That's a great list. Well, I mean, that's a research, because you know, I'm just taking stuff that's top of my head here, and honestly, I'm just thinking like this season. You know what I'm saying? Like, what would it be? This, you know, Sellers is hitting in South Carolina, right? But, you know, what if you had a prime Tim Tebow up there in South Carolina uniform at the start of this season? You know, they wouldn't have lost to LSU, I don't think. I don't think they may have kept the Ole Miss game close. Hell, they may be undefeated at this point, you know, because, again, Sellers is getting better. I get that. But at the start of the season, it was not good. And so I think more of this year. Is there anybody on defense? I know offense gets all the accolades and stars. Is there any defensive guys you'd move around, maybe help a team out?
Clowney almost went to Alabama.
Yeah.
That would have been pretty wild to see.
Yeah, that would have been. I don't know.
Patrick Willis on Tennessee. That would have been. I don't know how. I don't think he really got recruited. I think that's why he went to Ole Miss. But Patrick Willis was always one of my favorite players.
Any kickers you'd want? You know, I would have took one this weekend. You know what I'm saying? Wouldn't have missed 3 of them.
Speaking of the Gamecocks, Braxton All says South Carolina unranked is some bull. I got the Gamecocks winning Saturday by 14 and winning out the rest of the season. And then Razor Bass 904. He gave us 904. Shane, how about Lane Kiffin playing for a huge freeze in 2024?
I'm kind of surprised. Again, I'm actually not surprised. I'm more upset that Vanderbilt and South Carolina didn't make the top 25,
Yeah. It was kind of BS, wasn't it?
Well, and I saw them carrying those boxes in where they were having them votes, and I was wondering, I was like, yeah, ACC got a few more in. That's what happened.
All right, how about this one, Shane?
Yeah.
From Colin Moore Magic. What a name. What a name.
Nice name.
Lane stays at Ole Miss if he beats Georgia. He has everything here. And then he said, yes, I'm delusional. So what's your thoughts on that, Shane? If Lane Whiffen, well, I'll stop calling him Whiffen if he wins this weekend. If Lane Kiffin beats Georgia this weekend, does he stay at Ole Miss?
Oh, that's a great question. I hate that it's just one game, because one game, I don't think so. Win a national championship.
I think it defines them, Shane, because if they lose, this is the best team they've ever assembled. They spent all this money. They're not even going to make a damn playoff. I think it is that big.
I totally get it. It is a huge game, Mike, but we're talking about Lane Kiffin staying at Ole Miss. I think the only reason that Lane Kiffin would stay at Ole Miss is if he could win national championships at Ole Miss. It's a great job. It's a place he could stay there for 30 more years. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It is a sweet spot, and he's built the program, and they cater to him. They do everything he wants. It's his baby. He's not in anybody's shadow. You know what I'm saying? But if the team can't get to a national championship, then you got to ask the question, because he's working. He's working harder than anybody probably in that transfer portal, especially recruiting.
Yeah.
I would imagine that if you can't make it happen this year, then I see an opportunity for him to go elsewhere. But the question was if he beats Georgia. If he beats Georgia, I don't think it secures him at Ole Miss, but it's definitely a step in the right direction, because if you can beat Georgia, you can win a national championship.
Yeah. Wait, so you're saying two things at one time, I feel like.
Yeah. That's politicians for you right there. You don't know what I did. They call that weaving, Mike. They call it weaving. No, hey, Mike, seriously, I feel like you beat Georgia, he could be at Ole Miss. I could see that, because that's the prerequisite for winning national championships, is beating teams like Georgia.
Right. Because if he doesn't,
yeah,
I don't know. I mean, I don't think he can accomplish it at Ole Miss. Now, things could change, Shane, because apparently, I don't know that they're officially going to do this, but they're all reporting it, that what may happen, and maybe this will be good for the sport, to where they'll have what's called revenue share, and that all the schools have between $20 to $25 million to pay the players, so that it's kind of like a cap, almost like a salary cap.
Right.
And maybe that's how we stop all this crazy free agency. Because if everybody's working under the same number, you're not going to have an Ole Miss having this high profile roster, and then say Vanderbilt not. You know what I mean? They're all working under the same number. Even though I think NIL will still exist, I can't imagine these, and maybe I shouldn't even say this, Shane, because we're all crazy about college football, but I can't imagine these boosters saying, you got $20 million to spend on your roster, and you're hitting me up for $5 million, so you need 25. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I don't think that's. I think that's the main reason they're going to go to this revenue share, Shane, because the people paying for these players.
Yeah,
I don't think they're going to do it anymore.
Maybe, but it's still going to exist, man. It's competitive. It's the game we play, Mike. It's the edge that some of these teams have that other teams don't. And even though you may do this revenue share, short of them coming out with saying something that you cannot take any money other than, like you have to do one or the other.
Yeah, they're not going to. They can't. I know it's against the law for them to prevent it. But if you're a Missouri booster,
yeah,
why are you're going to pay all these figures again? If you're an Ole Miss booster and we go 9-3 or 8-4, you're going to give them $15 million again? I don't think there's any shot in hell that happens.
I don't.
Now I think it could be case by case. Like let's say Florida does hire Lane Kiffin.
Yeah,
and even if they have this 20, let's just call it $20 million to be rounded. They get $20 million in this revenue share.
Mm-hmm.
If fans are excited about a coach and he comes out here and says, we really need $10 more million to so that we can have $30 million.
Yeah.
People may give it to him to build it.
Yeah.
But they're not going to do that annually. I really don't think.
They are, Mike. They are. This is a cash grab, man. This is making money. This is a business. And just because everybody's getting the same base pay doesn't mean that some schools aren't going to have a little extra gas in the tank, I mean, think Lucky Charms, Mike. If I'm getting a bowl of Lucky Charms and I'm pouring that cereal in there and that bowl's to capacity, but I'm looking at that box and I still see 3 or 4 of them little, what do you call those, marshmallows?
Right.
The little charms. I'm still going to knock those in there. You know what I'm saying? Even though my bowl doesn't need it. My bowl's just as nice as this bowl, and it's just as big as this bowl. But if I get a few extra over here, this bowl just became sweeter. So I feel like that's what's going to happen in this. It doesn't matter that we're going to have revenue share. It really doesn't. I think it's great. I think it's good for the kids, everybody to have some money, because you always hear about the quarterbacks, you hear about the wide receivers, you hear about these DBs. They're making all this money, which is awesome. But you don't hear about the third string right tackle, the walk-on whatever. There's a lot of players that aren't getting, quote unquote, the cut. They're getting a scholarship, if you will.
Right.
But now everybody will have that. But I still think that the players, especially the big ones, are going to still get NIL money, and they're still going to have no problems getting it from the boosters because there's always going to be some sort of kickback here.
I don't know. I think a better analogy is if you paid all this money and you say, I want my Lucky Charms, and then they say, well, so did LSU, Alabama, and A&M, and we lost 5 games. You get nothing. You're going to keep giving your money each time? That's the point I'm trying to make. There's no guarantees.
Maybe not each time, but one time every 3 years, 4 years, whatever. Can't you see a scenario like that? Like you built a roster. Maybe we got contracts and these kids are just there. Maybe that's the thing you should really be asking is the contracts. Like if the kids are secured at a location,
right,
then at that point there's no real benefit to paying them more money. Does that make sense?
Right.
So is that coming with revenue share? Are we talking contracts here? Maybe I missed that one.
No, it's to my knowledge, no.
So short of contracts, there will always be boosters. There will always be people taking money. You know what I'm saying? So, but once the contracts get in, then that could get a little more intriguing, if you will.
All right, let's change the subject here, Shane, because we're talking Lucky Charms. I don't even know where we're at, but I do want to shout out JP. Appreciate you, brother. He just gave a membership.
Thanks, cuz.
To Hall of Fame College Football. Welcome, Hall of Fame.
Hall of Fame.
And JP, you still need to reach out to me, that SEC podcast, gmail.com. We're trying to hook you up with any item on our store there of your choice. Your choice. I'm going to send it to you free of charge. How about this one, Shane? This is. We basically got 2 questions that were the same, so I'm going to rope them together here. Really, really good stuff here. From Lawn Chair Legend. Does the SEC need to split back to divisions? And he says, I just started listening to your podcast this season and quickly became one of my favorites that I never miss. So appreciate you, Lawn Chair. And then Roderick Davis, how would the SEC look if we still had divisions? And he says, throw Texas and Oklahoma in the West, kick Auburn to the East. That way we balance it out.
Yeah.
So here we go, Shane. Here's how it would look right now if we had East and West. Georgia would still be number 1 in the East. Mm-hmm. Tennessee 2. How about this, though? Vanderbilt 3. South Carolina 4. Mizzou 5. Florida 6. Auburn 7. And Kentucky 8. That's how the East would look. Now the West, we'd have A&M 1. Texas 2. LSU 3. Ole Miss 4, Alabama 5, good Lord, Arkansas 6, Oklahoma 7, and Mississippi State 8. Do you like that better than just the jumbled mess that is 1 through 16?
Well, the numbers are a little skewed because they didn't play all in this scenario East teams, if you will. So like Vanderbilt may even be higher because they got a loss against Texas, which would in this scenario be in the West. So they may not even been playing Texas. But no, I don't like the two divisions anymore. I think I've got a little taste of outside two divisions, and we're talking pure chaos. I mean, Mike, you know what I'm saying? We have no idea who's going to be in the SEC championship. We have no idea, even though we just saw the bracket, who are going to be in the college football playoffs. So I think when you go back to a two-tier system, it's like you can kind of figure it out, and it kind of, for me, it takes the joy out of it. So no, I love the chaos.
So if we did have divisions, though, I was going to piggyback off this real quick.
Yeah.
Who do you think would make the SEC championship just based on those standings I gave you? And again, let's say we probably really got to limit it to the top three on each one, right? So Georgia, Tennessee, and Vanderbilt, and believe it or not, that's your top three out of the East. Georgia and Tennessee are obviously going to play each other. Tennessee and Vanderbilt are going to play each other. And Georgia has at Ole Miss to throw it. So, just put your thinking cap on here, Shane. If we know what we know about these teams, which team do you think wins the East if we had this East right now?
Probably Georgia. I give Georgia a slight edge here.
Yeah, because the game's in Athens, you think?
Only because it's in Athens.
Now, how about same thing?
And it's probably going to rain.
Yeah.
So,
how about A&M, Texas, and LSU out of the West? A&M and Texas still got to play, so that'll be a deciding one probably.
Yeah.
And the West is very confusing here, but you still got LSU, Ole Miss, and Alabama are all technically still alive. Who would you like out of the West?
I think I'm going to go Texas slightly here.
Ooh, God, you hate that. I forgot you hate the Aggies. I shouldn't even ask you that. You know what?
Oh, wait, it's in College Station. Yeah, I go with Texas. They can't be loud twice, Mike,
Shane, when you say stuff like that, it makes my head hurt. It really does. And you know how I cure it?
How's that?
Cornbread hemp. Come on. All your BS. I'd just take me some of this cornbread hemp. Promo code SEC. Get you 30% off your entire order over at cornbreadhemp.com. What is this cornbread hemp you're saying? Well, this is America's first ever USDA organic THC gummy to block out the A&M haters like Shane over here. They sell also these CBD sleep gummies. I cannot recommend these enough. Again, head on over to cornbreadhemp.com, put in that promo code SEC, get you 30% off your entire order, and you never have to listen to this blasphemous A&M hate again. You know what?
I love it, Mike. I love it. Rolling one up right now, Mike.
How about this question from Charles Wesley, Shane? If Hugh Freeze and Auburn played Vanderbilt 9 more times, how many times would they beat Vanderbilt? We're going to get this question every week, I think.
If who again?
If Hugh Freeze played Vanderbilt 9 more times, how many would they beat them?
Dude, I mean, you would think a lot more. That I don't know, man. I mean, honestly, I have no confidence in Hugh Freeze right now, so I say they lose 8 out of the 9 right now. I mean, how many times do we got to watch Pavia whoop you? I mean, he's already got down 3, right? So,
yeah, I mean, I can't stress this enough. That was Vanderbilt's worst game.
Yeah.
They beat you by 10 on your field. So that's just awful. And follow up, Shane. Again, I swear, I'm not writing these questions, but shout out Cousin SJ. Does anyone have a worse coach than Auburn this season? And
Guys,
again,
this your burner account. I knew it.
Hugh Freeze, he's 1-6 in home games. What is his best win, Shane? It's either Cal last season.
Yeah.
Well, they didn't make a bowl game, or Arkansas. They killed Arkansas last year, but Arkansas went 4-8. So, I mean, is there a coach in the SEC that's worse than Hugh Freeze right now? That's a question from SJ.
That is a great question, Mike. Let me ask you this. I don't want to just, because it's two situations. Are we building a team or are we playing a game? So if you were going team A, team B, kind of like your power rankings, and you got to go back there and all the coaches are selected except for one, who do you hope it's not? Do you think, just for the game, do you think is it Hugh Freeze for you?
Maybe Levy.
Yeah.
But he's just, again, he's showing signs of promise. I think Mississippi State's showing more promise than Auburn.
Yeah.
I'd rather have Mississippi State's quarterback. Guess who picked him? Jeff Levy. The receivers look better. The running, it's just, it's Hugh Freeze, Shane. It's Hugh Freeze.
Hugh Freeze and Coach Stoops sitting over there.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah. They're over there playing baccarat. You got to pick one of them. Which one are you picking?
Well, because Stoops makes a fine bourbon, I'm going with Stoops. I think I can get along with him. Hopefully, he just has never heard anything I've said about him, and I think we'd get along just fine.
You're coming up. They just brought a new team into the SEC, the Tulane Green Wave, and you got to pick a current SEC coach to build the thing. All of them have been picked except this one guy, and you're pissed because he's left. Who is that guy? Is it still Hugh Freeze, or is there another one?
Rico says Pittman's pretty damn close. I think I don't know. Yeah, that's a good question. Probably Stoops.
Okay, all right. I think I'd go Lebby right now. I'd like Lebby for more of a game coach, just because I do like his offense. I do like what he's been able to do with Mississippi State, even though they're statistically they've not been great. But it's a new roster. I just feel like building is something I've got to see a little bit more of, and I've not seen anything to kind of wow me. I mean, hell, his recruits are decommitting in the at these football games, so not a lot of confidence in building a program right now. So I think I'll go Lebby on that one.
Oh, how about this? This is a great one from Man with the Plan. We totally overlooked Venables. I would maybe consider him as well.
I take Venables. He's still a good defensive coach. You know what I'm saying? So,
right.
Yeah, if you're not, it's either one thing. Like either you're really good at one thing or you're kind of good at nothing. And so, I'd rather you be really good at one thing, and then maybe we can hire a coordinator.
Yeah. All right. Well, how about this one, Shade, from cousin Jay Walton? Who's going to have a longer offseason if they lose this weekend? Brian Kelly or Kalen DeBoer? Who's going to have a longer offseason if they lose? Because, again, if they lose this weekend, Alabama, LSU, you're done. You're not making the playoff.
I think Coach Kelly, man. I know you hate Alabama, but hear me out, Mike. I think if he loses, you've hit your ceiling. Coach Kelly came down here to win national championships. LSU hired Coach Kelly to win national championships. They didn't hire him to win 10 games. And I know 10 games, that looks great maybe at, 18 of the top 25 teams right now in the AP. They'd love that, But in LSU, it's a different standard. And I feel like year 3, you're scratching your head with some questionable losses. You're scratching your head as you watch Jaden Daniels just look like a damn machine in the NFL. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I think there's going to be some people that are a little bit upset with the future of LSU Tigers if they lose this weekend.
Right. Yeah. I mean, one guy's in year 1, one guy's in year 3.
Yeah.
That I think, and one guy's playing at home at night in their awesome environment. Some people say the best environment, night game, Tiger Stadium.
Mm-hmm.
While the other guy, I think you're right. I think it is Brian Kelly's going to have more questions to answer. I'm still waiting for this Kalen DeBoer to show up, Shane. Now, I think we got it. First quarter against Georgia, I was like, good God. They just hired a mastermind over here at Alabama, right? Ever since that point, though, it seems like Alabama fans would be fine if Kalen DeBoer took his ball and went back to Washington. You know what I mean? Like, I think the truth is somewhere in between.
But don't you think, too, I'm not getting on DeBoer, and that's a whole different thing, but don't you think sometimes it's just luck? You know what I'm saying? I mean, you talked about 10, 15 minutes about moving this guy to this one and if this recruiting class would have happened. But honestly, that's what it comes down to is just a handful of really good players in your football team and maybe a little lady luck on your side. And then all of a sudden you got a good record or a shitty record. And sometimes when I look at some of these guys that haven't been doing it a long time, and DeBoer's been a coach for a long time, but not Division I, not successfully. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he's got a great record, but it's such a small sample size and he's moved up so quick. And how many times you worked at a job and they promote this guy in like a year and you're just like, man, this guy, they don't even talk to this guy. He's an idiot. Why is he work? You know? And I'm not saying DeBoer's an idiot, but sometimes the stars align and you get the opportunity. And then when the shit hits the fan, they realize you may not be as good as they thought you were. So I'm still a little leery on crowning DeBoer as the next great down there in Alabama. But so far, man, what would you rank DeBoer right now if on a grading scale? Would you say like a C plus? I kind of got him at like a C minus right now, maybe a C. What would you have Kalen DeBoer first year Alabama right now?
Yeah, it's hard to say. I mean, we're 8 games in here.
Yeah.
1 awful loss. 1 good win. Probably B minus.
B minus.
But Shade, if they beat LSU, they're just marching their way to the playoff, probably.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, looks like a pretty damn good coach. You know what?
Yeah. Yeah. No, I get it. It's just, I don't know. I'm sorry. Maybe I've been hanging out with you too long, Mike, because I'm feeling like after that second half of the Georgia game, I'm not seeing, like you said, you saw it in the first half. Yeah, we got to see it. But since then, it feels like it's been kind of a downhill, except for the Mizzou game. The Mizzou game didn't have a quarterback.
I think the bigger indictment, again, is Kelly. We're year 3.
Yeah.
We got this offensive line. We can't run the football. Why can't we run the football? Mm-hmm. We got all these athletes on defense. It seems like we're finally turning the page there, but this is year 3. This is year 3 at LSU. Why the hell couldn't we play defense first game? Why have we lost the opener every year? Mm-hmm. And again, they're one of the few teams that of course they do play cupcakes. They just play them week 2, but where most of these SEC teams, play Kent State or whoever they'll week 1 to get their confidence going. So, maybe you can make that argument, but you can't lose that game every year.
Right.
Kelly's lost it every, you know what I mean? So the things are kind of piling up that now the Notre Dame people, they hate, and it's not their fault. Everybody, remember how bad we used to bash Kiffin when he left Tennessee? Everybody hates the guy that left.
Yeah.
But they did make some good points about his record, and it's starting to come clear. And if he loses this game on Saturday at home against first-year DeBoer, they won't fire him, but
yeah,
I don't think he's going to win anything of significance. If he can't win games like this, then he's not worth what they're paying him.
Yeah. He'll be another good LSU coach that nobody talks about in 15 years.
Hey, I appreciate you, Phil. I don't understand this. Well, maybe you can break it down for me, Shane. He says Polly Market has Tennessee beating Georgia by 2 scores.
So yesterday during the election, this is kind of like a pollster type deal where they're trying to tell you, their projection. So in this case, they are projecting Tennessee to beat Georgia by 2 scores, and I like this. I think they got 85% of the votes in. So good one here, Mike. Good one.
That should give you the idea of how.
Go ahead, call that one.
All right, how about this one, Shane? The Figler.
That's cool name.
Yeah. I hope it's not like a profanity that I don't know what it is, But shout out Figler. If Florida was to find the right coach in 2025, what would their record be next year? I mean, this is tough to project. But let me see. Yeah, I mean, it's virtually the same schedule, but it's just flip-flopped, right? So here's the schedule for Florida next year. South Florida, right at home, at Miami, Florida A&M. Oh, wait, no, these are not in order at all. I apologize. But, yeah, so it's basically the same schedule but flip-flopped.
Yeah.
And I don't know. What do you think? I mean, there's just so many variables. Like,
pull up their schedule now, so we just kind of look. Let's just pretend it's reversed here. So you're at A&M, you're at Tennessee. No, wait, no, I'm sorry. So you're at A&M, at Kentucky, at LSU, and at Ole Miss.
But you still get. Then you got Tennessee coming to town, Texas coming to town.
Yeah,
Florida State. Yeah, I mean, this is gonna be tough.
Here's the thing, Mike. If we brought in a new coach, an ideal coach that maybe is really good at keeping the roster, because I think that's the pivotal piece here, Mike. A lot of times when you have a coach leaving, you got pure chaos and everybody bailing ship. Florida's got a lot of young talent, a lot of great talent down there. I feel like if they can secure that, this still should be at least a 7-win team.
Florida should always be an 8-win team.
Yeah, year one though. Year one during a roster transition, I think you could get away with 7.
You make so much excuses for these damn coaches, Shane.
Mike,
you come in here, Indiana guys 9-0. Who else we got in here? We got
Indiana.
We got Brian. We just bashed Brian Kelly. He came in here. He won the West his first year.
Did Indiana play Miami? Did they play Texas A&M?
How about Mike Elko? Mike Elko come in here. A&M may win the whole damn national championship this year. If you could coach, you could coach. I'm done with this. 3 years, 4 years. This is the portal era. This is NIL.
I'm not saying 3. I never said 3. I said year one, 7 wins is the acceptable win-loss. No. Now, that's where you should be. Now, again, different job. The thing is, Mike, the standards have been lowered. Okay? Florida is not as enticing as it used to be, you know? But that's why we gave DeBoer such a hard time. Here he is, 2 losses, and we're like, I just gave him a freaking seat. You know what I'm saying? But the standards are higher in Tuscaloosa. Florida, they're not. 7 wins is, I feel like, a good start for a coach here. Because now we got another guy here that probably isn't going to hit 7 wins. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, I think that's the perfect way to answer that, Shane, because the guy you're replacing literally never won 7. And you're doing it in year one, you got yourself a coach.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely.
But if he don't win 7. Hey, shout out David. He gave us $10, Shane. I got lots of SEC brothers and cousins, and I'm ready to join his family as an official cuz. I'm a UJ alum and big dog fan. Where do I go to sign up? So I just put the link there in the comments, but we appreciate you, cousin David.
Thank you, cuz.
All right, next question here, Shane. I told you, we got some good ones here. Peter McBrayer. Appreciate you, Peter. What's the worst SEC team that you would be unwilling to bet that Indiana could beat them? So he's saying...
yeah. No, that's good. That's a good one.
He says, I picked Kentucky.
So he thinks Kentucky can beat them?
No, that's the
line.
That's the line. And Kentucky is I'm putting the standings up here. Kentucky is currently 15th in the SEC. I would also add Auburn to that list. I think I don't think Auburn with Hugh Freeze as their coach can beat anybody worth anything. But that's probably the line for me.
Yeah, I mean, you just crowned them. I mean, you were just talking about how great they're doing up there. We're like maybe top 15. So, man, I think they may catch. I mean, they got a couple good dudes on there. I mean, I ain't gonna lie. I would say the line would be Florida for me.
Okay.
Yeah, I think they could. That Florida, Oklahoma mix up right there, Missouri, put them in there.
Really just depends on if Missouri's got the quarterback, how many receivers Oklahoma's got.
Yeah, exactly. If you could blend those two football teams, oh my God, wouldn't they be something?
I think they would. You know who is something though, Shane?
Who's that?
JP. Come on. Cousin JP just gifted a membership to Stuart Alexander. Stuart, welcome to the family, JP.
Welcome.
Thank you. And also David. Appreciate you, brother. He just became a member to the channel.
Come on, cuz. Stuart Alexander. That sounds like a lawyer. We may need him.
The things we say, we're going to need him. How about this one, Shane, from cousin Landon? What team that already has 3 losses are you going to pump up for a playoff spot this week? And I saved this one for just this one, Shane. Again, People take issue with this.
Yeah.
South Carolina. I mean, they're red hot.
Mm-hmm.
And here, I've legitimately, I think I have a fair thing. And they even asked about him yesterday in the playoff after the show. There's a teleconference and they talked to the guy, and they were asking about injuries. And who did they leave out last year, Shane, due to injuries?
Who?
Florida State, right? Because they lost their quarterback. So if you are going to not select a team because of injuries, I think it's fair to also say, well, one of our key players was injured in one of our losses.
Oh.
So, if we could spin it that way, which I think is only fair because they're kicking people out because of injuries. Well, who got hurt, Shane, in LSU game that only played a half a game? Lenore Sellers.
Right.
So, again, A&M, according to our buddy Dave Bartu, A&M was going to be ranked 5th in the playoff poll.
Yeah.
South Carolina just whooped their ass. Vanderbilt should be in the poll. Let's say they whoop their ass. Let's say they beat Missouri. Let's say they're going to kill Wolford, and then Clemson for some reason is ranked. Let's say they whoop Clemson's ass. If you have, and going back the week before, they just decimated Oklahoma. If you have a 6-game winning streak where you're beating everybody by 20-plus points, and one of your losses, which is already a questionable loss if you ask me with the officiating, you didn't have your quarterback. How could this team be denied? And I mean, I think these are the things that need to be considered. And I'm not saying make them the 1 seed or hell, give them the 12th, give them the last spot. If you're whooping everybody's ass and you're on a heater of that magnitude, you deserve to. I mean, what the hell are we doing? You deserve a shot to go on. I think.
Should we have one team? I know they're expanding to 14, right? Should we have one that's voted on by the people?
Whoa, buddy, Shane. Too Slick just gifted 50 memberships. Oh
Let me log in real quick and get my membership. Too Slick.
That's 2 shows in a row, Too Slick. I appreciate you, buddy.
Thank you, cuz.
I don't think we got a buzzer loud enough.
Thanks, cuz.
But we do got that one.
Wait, can you hear this one?
Thanks, cuz.
You just played the same thing I played.
No, I knew I had another one. Sorry. So, let me try this one. Let's try that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Probably got pulled off YouTube. So
everybody and their mother. So he's gifted 100 memberships to the channel just tonight, Shay. Just tonight.
Damn.
My goodness.
Too slick.
I'm trying to think. Who's the richest coach in the SEC? Is Too Slick? Is he really Kirby Smart, you think?
No, this is Brian Harsin. With all that buyout money. He's living a good life, sending pictures.
Jimbo. He's Jimbo.
That's it, Jimbo. Down there on the ranch, sending some pictures. Yeah.
Man, what a guy. We appreciate you, brother.
Thank you, cuz. Appreciate it. The funniest one, so when he did this on the last show, somebody asked him, if he was dying. He says, I'm not dying. So thank you, Too Slick. Really appreciate it.
He's like Oprah. He's giving them, you get a membership. You get a membership.
Yeah. And remember, when you guys, now that you're members, we're going to be asking these questions. And don't forget, we're going to have the family reunion coming up. So looking forward to that, man. We're going to have a lot more cousins there this year.
It's going to be a madhouse in there. You know what?
Hell yeah. Thanks to Too Slick.
Man, what a guy. What a guy. Okay, how about Moister Oyster? Oh my God, what a name. Hey, I'm just reading what they're saying here, Shane.
Shit.
How in the Dickens is Alabama in the top 12? What a question here. And again, I'm gonna throw up. So here's the playoff here. Well, how is Alabama in the top 12? Do you think they've earned that? Right? I mean, they did beat Georgia, but they should not be in over A&M at this point, should they?
Let's see. Well, I mean, do they got 3 losses? No, they
got 2.
Tennessee, yeah, no, they should. They're right where they need to be, Mike. On the road in Tennessee by a touchdown, top 25.
How about losing to Vanderbilt, getting dominated by Vanderbilt?
I mean, come on, man. Right now, Vanderbilt, South Carolina. I think that's going to be. We're talking about a dead even heat here, right here, man. I feel like Vanderbilt and South Carolina should be getting the same kind of love here. Both top 25 teams, fringe top 20, 25 teams. but at the time, you got to remember, at the time, I think we weren't expecting Pavia Magic, and that's why Bama took such a hit initially from that Vanderbilt loss. But now we're starting to see more and more games. We're like, oh yeah, Vanderbilt's a really good football team. So no, I think they're in a good spot. Texas A&M went on the road, lost. I don't know, shit. That week one, I don't like counting week one games. You know what? Texas A&M over. Sorry, Bama just got relegated. Delegated, relegated. Yeah.
I think I just read that question just for the name. Oyster there.
Yeah. It's Cousin Joe's burner.
And you know how you prevent from being moist in all those places, Shane?
Yes, Mando.
Mando, come on, brother. Go to shopmando.com. Promo code SEC. Get you $5 off a starter pack. That's 40% off of a starter pack, Shane, at ShopMando. That's ShopMando. ShopMando, promo code SEC. Get your $5 off. This is a whole body deodorant, Shane. And luckily, we got a discount code for all the cousins out there, Shane. Again, shopmando.com, promo code SEC. Help support the podcast and stay fresh, stay clean. Your ladies will appreciate if you stay clean with your ShopMando promo code SEC. All right, Shane. We're running out of questions here, but we got two more.
Okay.
Really good ones. Meister Dokies. That can't be your real name, but I do appreciate it. Do you think there's a scenario where the 5th seed, Texas A&M, or the 6th seed, LSU, ranked teams in the SEC can jump the 3rd, which would be Tennessee, or Alabama the 4th in the playoffs? So can A&M, basically he's looking at teams on the bubble, and I would throw Ole Miss in here as well. Yeah. Can the teams just outside on the bubble, can they jump the others? And at this point in time, Shane, absolutely they can.
So you're talking A&M, LSU, Ole Miss.
He's wondering, can they get in, and some of these SEC teams that are in, like Georgia, Texas, Bama, Tennessee, can they be jumped?
Yeah.
And without a doubt, because A&M's got Texas.
Yeah.
That's their ticket in. LSU this weekend, Alabama, there's their ticket in. Ole Miss has got Georgia this weekend. So all this is up for grabs. Now, the other way, you know, if Georgia beats Ole Miss, if Alabama beats LSU, if Texas beats Texas A&M, it's only going to strengthen those teams' cases to remain in the playoffs. So yeah, basically all these games are elimination, and hell, Tennessee, Georgia may be an elimination depending on what happens this weekend with Georgia, Ole Miss.
Well, and you brought up an interesting point the other day about the SEC championship. Let's not forget that. I mean, you put two teams in, and one just gets absolutely railroaded.
Right.
You know, it's
and gets a third loss in the SEC championship.
They may get knocked out completely. So, and the other teams have just got to win out. So I don't know, man. I think you make a good point. A&M, LSU, Ole Miss, they went out. I think they're still getting in. But for them, one of them not, I think you still got to win regardless. I think those teams are kind of, well, I don't know. I mean, hell, Tennessee could lose and be down there in the fringe. There may be some wild chaos here toward the end, but I feel like an SEC championship, you still need to go in, even with 3 losses.
Hey, Cousin Two Slick says, fuck it. If this podcast gets 300 likes, I'll gift another 50 memberships. So everybody stop what you're doing. Give the podcast
a quick like here.
And who knows, you could be gifted a membership there thanks to old Two Slick. You know what?
What are we at now? How many likes?
That's what I'm checking right now. Let's see. We're pretty far off. We're only at 72.
Well played, Too Slick. Yeah. Well played.
That's like a Cousin Shane walking bit right there.
Yeah. You know what? I get 300. I'm going to walk 300 miles. No, just kidding. I didn't mean that.
All right. How about this one, Shane?
Too Slick didn't know we were going to go for 24 hours, did he?
No, we always end on a Cousin Trey question here. He's always got some good ones here. Which is a bigger opportunity to win the game this weekend, Shane? He's talking just LSU, Alabama here.
Yeah.
LSU's inability to stop the quarterback run, or Alabama's secondary not being very good, which presents a bigger opportunity to win this weekend, Tiger Stadium?
Alabama secondary.
You think?
Yeah. I know they were exposed in College Station with the quarterback run, but I felt like that was just something. Bad coaching. We just talked about how bad Coach Kelly can be. They weren't prepared for it. I don't think that happens this week, Mike. I think they're more than prepared for a mobile quarterback. But the secondary of Bama has been suspect, and this is maybe one of the best prolific offenses that they've faced. And I don't know if they had the same tenacity that Texas A&M had in College Station. So I feel like that's your biggest weakness right now.
Well, let me ask it this way, though, Shane. Which coaching staff do you have the most confidence in? Because they've each had 2 weeks to prepare. They're both coming off a bye to kind of shore up these deficiencies. Is it Brian Kelly and his LSU staff, or is it Kalen DeBoer and his Alabama staff?
I think it's Coach Kelly, and we've seen adjustments throughout the season. We just haven't seen in-game adjustments. So, and I think you could argue the same thing with DeBoer. Some of the worst losses they took this year have been lack of in-game adjustments. So if you kind of rule that out, two weeks to prepare, give me that old fart down there in LSU.
and I would assume the home field advantage too plays a part in that, right? Because communication with Alabama secondary could be an issue. Meanwhile, when LSU's playing defense, I mean, it'll certainly be loud, but they can quiet the crowd if they need to. So, that certainly plays a factor in it as well, I would think.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Okay, and then he's always got a food question for you, Shane.
That's why I was rushing this one. I was ready to get to this one.
Cousin Shane, fried turkey or smoked ham?
Ooh. You know what? I'm a little biased, maybe because it's so close to Thanksgiving, but give me fried turkey. I had some last Thanksgiving.
Mm-hmm.
Delicious, fantastic. Been thinking about it ever since, man. So, yeah, give me fried turkey right now.
Over smoked ham, huh?
I love smoked ham too. I mean, this is like a 1A, 1B situation, like which kid's your favorite. But I think right now, and maybe it's just this moment, I'd love to have a turkey sandwich. So, yeah, I'm going smoked turkey here.
And then he also asked, is it acceptable for an adult to have ice cream cake for their birthday?
Hell no.
Oh,
no.
Why not? Why not?
No. What are you, 2? Get off here, man. If you want cake, get cake. You want ice cream, get ice cream. But it is not the same. 2 things I hate, Mike. 2 things I cannot stand. And I'm a fat guy. You would say Shane loves every dessert. I don't like ice cream cake, and I don't like cookie cake. I think those cookie cake companies, they're the worst. It's not even a real cookie. It's a shitty cake with extra icing. It's not good. So, no.
Wait, just because you don't like it doesn't mean it's not acceptable.
For me, it is. Yeah, because I'm going to be eating it. So.
Wait, so you don't like it, but you're like, well, I'll be eating it. Just don't eat it.
No. I mean, but they know not to get it from me. Does that make sense? Yeah, we're talking about my birthday now. So, no cookie cake. No ice cream cake, and if you get a cake, don't get that whipped stuff. I don't like that. I don't like the taste like whipped cream. I want the buttercream.
I think he's just wanting an ice cream cake, but he's wondering if it's all right if he gets it for himself.
No,
I think that's totally fine.
I never got cake and ice cream either. I never. That's not a good combination. It's an okay combination, but I don't get why people like cake and ice cream. Now, you got a cobbler and ice cream? That's a match made in heaven. But a cake and ice cream?
Liquid said Shane just got de-invited from every birthday.
Well, that's not a bad thing either.
Oh, man. Yeah, you have not had the right kind of cakes then, apparently.
I live in East Tennessee. You've been to the damn mall I've been to, Mike. That place, they just closed it. They ain't even in there no more. But
no, it's not about the cookie. It's more about the cake and the ice cream. I mean, that's an American classic.
On whose standards, Mike?
Like a good dense chocolate cake with some vanilla ice cream. I mean, I don't know that can be beat.
Yeah, it can. Pecan pie and a scoop of ice cream, but. Heat it up a little bit. Get that pecan pie nice warm. Maybe it's out of the oven, even better. And then get a scoop of ice cream. That belongs together. because it's so hot. And it cools down real quick with the ice cream. I don't know what it is. It's some sort of magic that it does. But it's a perfect scenario. The only problem is sometimes you find a pocket of like lava, and the roof of your mouth is shot for 3 days. It's like a pizza roll that went wrong,
Matt says Shane didn't want to come to y'all birthday party anyway.
Hell no. Your cheap-ass chairs.
Oh, buddy.
Oh, shit.
I can't. That's the most stunning admission of the season. Shane don't like cake and ice cream.
No, there's a lot of things I don't like. I don't like booths that are glued into the wall. There's no wiggle room, I don't like those. I don't like those plastic lawn chairs. There's a lot of things I don't like, Mike. But food and it's sweet foods, that one probably throws you off. The two things that, like, the worst sweets in the world, like, I hate them, is cotton candy, because I told you about the scary movie I watched. But the other one is funnel cakes. And you would say, hey, Shane, you next to Dollywood,
Right.
You would think that was like part of growing up was have funnel cakes. I mean, clearly. But I cannot stand it. Something about it. Maybe I got sick when I was a kid eating those things, but I cannot stand funnel cakes. That's the worst dessert they've ever made.
How about, I think one that's worse is, you ever had, I think they're called like Dippin' Dots. They're like frozen ice cream balls. Yeah. That to me was like, we had a good thing. Why did we have to make it this thing?
Yeah. Well, I get that. Yeah. Dippin' Dots aren't bad, but I never woke up and said, you know what, I'd love for some Dippin' Dots today. You know what I'm saying? But if I'm there and you're eating it, I'd be like, yeah, give me a bowl of that. I'll take some of those Dippin' Dots.
Yeah, well, I think in the off season we might just have to be that food podcast. But
yeah, we should probably do that. I'm going to start going to Dollywood and start ranking all the food they have there in the park. By the way, I did get some cinnamon bread today from there. Phenomenal. Dolly is not a sponsor of this show, but by God, I don't know what magic they put into that thing. That loaf of cinnamon bread is fantastic.
And please remind all the cousins again, Shane, what are you allergic to?
Cinnamon.
Don't eat it. What are you doing?
I know. I didn't. I found my EpiPen, and then I was like, all right, let's do this, I know. That sounds bad, man, when you word it that way.
It's not the wording that's bad here, Shane, but
I know.
All right. I guess that'll do it. Anything else before we hop off the line? Let's hope you didn't eat too much of that. This may be your last show.
Nope, tomorrow's my last show before I go to Missouri. So I'm looking forward to hanging out with the cousins up there, Oklahoma, Mizzou fans. We're going to be heading out Thursday after the show. Going to be eating at Lambert's Friday, 11 o'clock their time. So that'd be Central time. And then we're going to Bucci's about 5 o'clock. We're going to be at the game. And then next day we're going to the football game. So I look forward to seeing some folks up there. A lot of people gave me their tailgate spots. But by the time I get to the fourth one, I ain't going to know where I'm at, man. I'm just going to enjoy Columbia, and I'm looking forward to it, man.
Well, make sure, go easy on the cinnamon so you can make your trip. But that's all we got on this episode. We'll be back tomorrow to make our predictions for the upcoming weekend. We appreciate each and every one of you. We'll catch you on the next one.
All right, see you guys. Go Vols. Thank you, Too Slick.
Yeah.
Rest in peace, man.